Honesty frees the mind. If you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. Mark Twain. Henry learned that sentence the hard way. For years he had built his life from small, tidy inventions. An embellished job title here, a borrowed story there, a tidy half-truth to smooth a dinner conversation. Lies were like comfortable shoes. They fit the moment and made the awkward parts easier. He wore them everywhere. The problem, he discovered, was that shoes wear out and blisters form. On a rain-slick Tuesday, standing at the bar of a dim, warm pub, Henry met Mara. She spoke in short, bright sentences and listened like a person cataloging sunlight. Henry did what he had always done. He rehearsed a life that would be interesting enough to keep her attention. He invented a childhood in Europe, a career in publishing, a trip to Patagonia. Mara smiled, eyes widening at each new country, each new triumph. Henry felt the thrill he had felt for years, the pleasant construction of a new self. Weeks became months. The inventions multiplied. He told a different version of the same story to her mother, to his boss, to a lonely neighbor. Each lie required its own scaffolding. He bought small props, a map pinned with red string, a faded passport he never used, and learned to keep accounts in his head. Memory became ledger work. Exactly where he had claimed to be last winter, who he had said he worked with, what color his first car had been. He slept poorly, his mind restless from the maintenance. Then came the night his lies failed him. Mara visited unexpectedly and, laughing, produced an old photo album from a drawer. The album held a picture of Mara as a child in a small seaside town, the place Henry had claimed to have loved as a young man. A photograph of Mara at a book fair, the event he falsely said he'd spoken at. The small, comfortable world Henry had made unraveled with the soft, relentless proof of paper and ink. Confrontation was short and honest at first. Mara's eyes were not angry. They were astonished, as if someone had swapped the sky. Henry felt an odd lightness during that silence, a sensation like unclenching a fist. He had expected rage or a dramatic exit. Instead, Mara asked one question that pierced farther than everything else. "Why didn't you tell the truth?" He could have invented a reason. Fear, shame, a desire to be loved. But the rehearsed answers stuck in the back of his throat like dry leaves. For the first time in years, he said simply, "I thought it would be easier." The word easier hung in the air and collapsed under its own weight. Mara listened, then told him a story of her own. The small deceptions she used to get through a difficult childhood, the relief she felt after telling a single painful truth and never having to rehearse it again. Henry heard, and in the telling their conversation turned from accusation into something gentler, an exchange of worn things being set down. He quit the small performances that week. He called people back and corrected details. He apologized where apology mattered and accepted that some bridges, once cracked, could not be perfectly mended. The work was messy and real. He stumbled honestly. Months later, sitting at the same bar that had once felt like a stage, Henry realized he no longer needed props. His memory was freed from accounting ledgers. The truth did not make his life simple. It made it plausible. He kept fewer facts to juggle and more moments to inhabit. When he spoke now, he watched faces change not because he had dazzled them, but because something genuine had been placed there. There is a small, practical liberty in honesty, Henry learned. The freedom to forget. Truth asks nothing of your memory except that you live inside it. And that, in the end, felt like the most honest thing he had ever done.